Letting go with love. Why some AlDub fans are finally moving on from Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards. In every great story, there comes a moment when even the most devoted hearts must pause, reflect, and decide whether to keep holding on, or gently let go. For years, the journey of Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards, also known by his real name, Richard Falkerson Jr., has been one of the most cherished narratives in Philippine entertainment. But today, a quiet shift is happening. Some fans, once deeply invested, once unwavering, are beginning to step back. Not out of anger, not out of disappointment, but out of something far more profound. Acceptance. The love that built a phenomenon. Before anything else, it's important to remember what AlDub truly was. It wasn't just a pairing. It wasn't just a trend. It was a phenomenon powered by genuine emotion. Fans didn't simply watch Alden and Maine, they felt them. Every smile, every interaction, every moment of connection created a bond that went far beyond entertainment. It became part of people's lives, routines, and even their personal beliefs about love and destiny. That kind of connection doesn't disappear easily, which is why letting go is never simple. The quiet goodbye. Unlike dramatic endings, this transition isn't loud. There are no grand announcements from fans saying they are leaving. Instead, it shows in subtle ways. Fewer posts, less engagement, a softer presence in discussions. Some longtime supporters are choosing to step away quietly, carrying their memories with them rather than holding on to unanswered questions. It's not about abandoning the story. It's about honoring it, while accepting that life moves forward. Growing with the story. As Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards continue to grow individually, fans are growing too. Priorities change. Perspectives evolve. What once felt urgent may now feel distant, but still meaningful. Some fans have come to realize that the happiness of the people they admire matters more than the continuation of a narrative they once believed in. And that realization is not a loss. It's growth. Choosing reality over possibility. For years, hope has been at the center of the AlDub story. Hope that what was seen on screen reflected something real. Hope that one day, everything would come full circle. But for some fans, that hope is slowly being replaced by acceptance. They are choosing to embrace reality, whatever that reality may be, rather than holding on to endless possibilities. This doesn't erase what they felt before. It simply allows them to move forward with peace. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. One of the biggest misconceptions is that stepping back means forgetting. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The fans who are letting go often carry the deepest appreciation for what AlDub once represented. They remember the excitement, the laughter, the shared moments with fellow supporters. They remember how it felt to believe in something beautiful. And that memory stays. Letting go is not about erasing the past. It's about making space for the future. A different kind of support. Some fans are not leaving entirely. They are simply changing how they support. Instead of focusing on the tandem, they now support Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards as individuals. They celebrate their achievements separately. They respect their personal choices. They cheer for their growth, even if it leads them in different directions. This shift reflects maturity, not just from the artists, but from the audience as well. The pain and beauty of moving on. There is a quiet sadness in letting go of something that once meant so much. But there is also beauty in it, because it shows that the connection was real. You don't struggle to let go of something that didn't matter. You don't reflect deeply on something that didn't touch your heart. The difficulty of moving on is proof of how meaningful the journey was. And in that sense, even goodbye becomes something special. The story that will always remain. Even as some fans step back, the story of AlDub does not disappear. It lives on. In archived videos. In shared memories. In the hearts of those who experienced it. It becomes a chapter, one that may be closed, but never forgotten. And for those who choose to stay, the story continues in its own way. Respecting every fan's journey. Not everyone is letting go, and that's okay. Some will continue to believe. Some will continue to hope. Some will continue to watch closely. Others will move on quietly, carrying gratitude instead of expectation. There is no right or wrong way to feel. Every fan's journey is personal. Final thoughts. Love, in its purest form. In the end, what we are witnessing is not the end of a fandom, but its transformation. A shift from intense expectation to quiet appreciation. From holding on tightly to letting go gently. For Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards, this moment is not defined by how many fans stay or leave. It is defined by the love that was given, freely, passionately, and sincerely. And perhaps that is the most beautiful part of all. Because even as some fans walk away, they don't leave with emptiness. They leave with memories, with lessons, with a story that once made them believe in something extraordinary. And sometimes, that is more than enough. An ending filled with gratitude. So as a few Maine fans quietly step back, they do so not with regret, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the moments. Gratitude for the feelings. Gratitude for a story that, even if it changes, will always remain a part of them. Because in the end, letting go doesn't mean the story failed. It simply means it was real enough to matter, and strong enough to be remembered forever. The strength it takes to let go. Letting go is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it takes incredible strength. For many longtime supporters of Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards, stepping back is not an easy decision. It comes after years of loyalty, emotional investment, and belief in something that once felt undeniably real. To let go is to face the truth, whatever that truth may be. It means accepting that not every story unfolds the way we hope. It means understanding that some connections are meant to inspire, not necessarily to last forever. And most importantly, it means choosing peace over uncertainty. From noise to silence. There was a time when the AlDub fandom was loud, vibrant, unstoppable, and everywhere. Timelines were filled with updates. Hashtags trended daily. Every moment was celebrated, analyzed, and shared. But now, for some fans, that noise has softened into silence. Not an empty silence, but a peaceful one. A silence where they no longer feel the need to prove anything. A silence where they can simply appreciate what once was, without demanding what should be. And in that silence, there is a quiet kind of healing. Accepting what cannot be controlled. One of the hardest lessons in any journey, whether in fandom or in life, is realizing that some things are beyond our control. Fans cannot dictate the choices of Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards. They cannot shape their future, define their relationship, or decide what happens next. And once that truth is fully accepted, something changes. The need to hold on tightly begins to fade. The pressure to interpret every detail disappears. What remains is simple, genuine support, free from expectation, carrying the lessons forward. Even as some fans step away, they don't leave empty-handed. They carry lessons. Lessons about patience, learn from waiting. Lessons about hope, learn from believing. Lessons about acceptance, learn from letting go. These lessons extend beyond fandom. They become part of how people understand relationships, emotions, and even themselves. In that sense, the AlDub journey continues, not as a love team, but as a life experience. The beauty of remembering without holding on. There is a special kind of peace that comes from remembering without holding on. It allows fans to look back and smile, without feeling the need to relive everything. It allows them to appreciate the past, without being tied to it. For many, this is where they are now. They still remember the killing. They still remember the excitement. They still remember how it felt to believe. But they no longer feel the need to search for answers in every new moment. And that shift is powerful. A quiet thank you. Though not always expressed publicly, there is an unspoken thank you from fans who are moving on. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the joy. Thank you for a story that once made ordinary days feel extraordinary. This gratitude is not loud, but it is sincere. And perhaps it is the most meaningful kind. Still watching. Just differently. Even those who have stepped back are not completely gone. Some still watch, from a distance. Some still smile when they see familiar clips. Some still feel a sense of warmth when Alden and Maine are mentioned together. The difference is in how they watch. There is no longer urgency, no longer expectation, no longer pressure, just quiet appreciation. The story lives on in different ways. For those who remain, the story continues actively. For those who leave, the story lives on internally. Either way, it doesn't disappear. Because stories like this don't belong to a single moment in time. They stretch across years, across emotions, across different stages of life. And in each stage, they take on a new meaning. Final reflection. Love that evolves. In the end, what we are witnessing is not the end of love, but its evolution. The love fans once expressed through excitement and constant engagement is now transforming into something calmer, deeper, and more personal. For Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards, this evolution reflects the lasting impact they have had. Because people don't change the way they feel about something unless it truly mattered. A gentle ending. And so, the story continues, just not in the way it once did. Some fans remain. Some fans move on. But all of them, in one way or another, carry a piece of that journey within them. There is no dramatic ending here. No final goodbye. Just a quiet understanding that sometimes, the most meaningful stories are not the ones we hold on to forever, but the ones we learn to release, with love. The last chapter isn't always written. As this journey reaches a quieter, more reflective space, one truth gently settles in. Some stories are never meant to have a clearly written ending. For the supporters of Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards, the idea of a final chapter may not come in the form of a statement, a reunion, or a confirmation. Instead, it comes through realization. A realization that not all meaningful connections are meant to last forever in the way we expect. A realization that sometimes, what matters most is not how the story ends, but how it made us feel while it was happening. When memories become enough. There was a time when fans searched endlessly for signs, for answers, for something that would validate everything they believed in. But now, for many, the search has softened. Because the memories themselves have become enough. The laughter shared during live moments. The excitement of watching something unfold in real time. The unity of millions feeling the same emotions at once. These are things that no ending can erase. And perhaps that is where true closure lies. Not in explanations, but in acceptance. A different kind of peace. What replaces expectation is peace. A quiet, steady understanding that whatever path Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards choose, it is theirs to walk. Fans no longer feel the need to hold on tightly. They no longer feel the urgency to interpret every detail. Instead, they allow things to be. And in that space, something beautiful happens. Support becomes unconditional. The legacy they leave behind. Long after trends fade and conversations slow down, one thing will remain. Their impact. They changed how people viewed love teams. They showed how authenticity could connect millions. They created moments that felt real, even in a scripted world. That legacy cannot be undone. It lives on not just in videos or posts, but in the hearts of those who experienced it. Gratitude over regret. As the final pages of this chapter gently close, there is no bitterness. Only gratitude. Gratitude for the happiness they brought. Gratitude for the memories that still bring smiles. Gratitude for a story that, even if unfinished, was deeply meaningful. Because in the end, it is better to have experienced something beautiful, even if it doesn't last, than to have never experienced it at all. The ending that feels right. And so, this is where the story finds its quiet ending. Not with a dramatic farewell. Not with a final answer. But with understanding. Some fans will continue to believe. Some will move forward completely. Others will remain somewhere in between. And all of that is okay. Because every journey is personal. One last look back. If you look back now, beyond the noise, beyond the speculation, beyond the expectations, what remains is something simple. Two people who created something unforgettable. And millions who felt it. That is the essence of it all. Final words. Letting go, but never losing. As fans slowly turn the page, They are not losing the story of Maine Mendoza and Alden Richards. They are carrying it with them, just in a different way. Less as a question. More as a memory. Less as something unfinished. More as something that was complete in its own time. And maybe that is the most meaningful ending of all. Because some stories are not meant to stay the same forever. They are meant to change us, and then gently let us go.